Hi, everybody. Welcome to quite a spontaneous need for a session. I'm focusing today on financial stress, financial strain. It's a global phenomenon that some people have done really well during this time. Their businesses have increased during this kind of pandemic lockdown situation all over the world. Some people haven't had a change. They carry on with their incomes, they carry on with their lives. Nothing's really changed for them financially. And there are some people that have lost everything. They've lost their jobs, they've lost their income streams. Everything's changing really quickly too. So jobs that used to be relevant are seeming to be irrelevant right now. There is a lot of that happening, that the job has become completely redundant. So we've got a number of things to cover today. We've got to cover the nervous system and how it's become incredibly stressed out in relationship to our financial health and wellness. We've got to look at literally our abundance and what that means. We're looking at our thoughts around money, because thinking about money could be the major stressor. You might have everything covered. You're paying your bills, everything's running smoothly, your job is fine, but you have this incredible anxiety or fear around money. So that means you're triggered by money itself or thinking about money. And we've got so many variations of all different kinds of things happening. So I really want to connect into innovation, how transformations take place. We need to constantly think of what is practical for us, what is going to support us in our lives. And we also need to see what is impractical, the thinking of how thinking about money, thinking about our personal situation, if something has changed just a little bit. So I'll just use myself as an example so that you can, or I use extreme examples, so be aware of that throughout the recording. My business personally is much slower than it usually is. So what is coming in is much slower, but my expenditure is staying the same. And no matter how much you cut back, you're still in a little bit of a crisis. So any type of crisis, whether it is a real crisis or a perceived crisis around money, this is what the session is about today. We've got some single words that I've asked people to give a single word to add into the matrix of the session, so that whatever the session, however it comes up, these kinds of words are coming in. We've got worry, we've got expansion, and we've got broke, and we've got overspend or budgeting. So these are, is it a struggle to budget, or is it overspending and I'm not able to stay within my budget? So there's lots of different things going on. Money is such a broad topic, and as I'm tuning into it, we're probably going to do more than one session. So let me just take a little bit of time. Thank you to all of those of you that have joined me online. It supports the energy. And thank you if you're listening to this a little bit later. Okay. So the first thing is anxiety. So the minute that there is the word money, there is tremendous anxiety. I feel it in my chest. I feel my heart contract. I feel my back go into spasm. And it's like, oh, I've got to figure out how to take a deep breath. So we'll start there with anxiety. Now, there are two things that happen. A feeling or a sensation in the body can catalyze thinking, or thinking can catalyze a feeling in the body. This feels like both. We're addressing both of those, but we'll have to run them as parallels. So I'm first going to start with thinking about money. And we have to get a little bit more specific about that. Thinking about my money, that's not clear enough. Thinking about making money, no. Thinking about managing money is the first thing that comes up, because I've got making money, spending money, saving money, but this is managing money, this ability to manage what you have, or make sure that what comes in is correctly managed for you, for what's practical for you. So anxiety around, well, all aspects of managing money. And then that pericardium contracts, the heart contracts, and it pulls into the thoracic spine, which also contracts. So we're going to do a release of the fascial tissue within the heart and around the heart. That's the pericardium. If you want to, for yourself, just put your hand on the heart, whatever feels comfortable for you. Connect into your own experience of anxiety, specifically around managing money, thinking about managing money. Oh, and then a lot of fear comes in. So I've got the fear right in the spine, in the back of the spine, the back of the back ribs. I'm going to start doing an emotional release of fear from the thoracic vertebra and the joints where the ribs connect into the thoracic vertebra. Still working with this fascial release of the pericardium. Because anxiety is made up of not just a single emotion, it's a combination. But fear is the strongest right now. Let's take some deep breaths as we start to release this. It's quite solid, and I want to say stuck. It's not stuck, but it feels as if it's stuck. It just feels like it's in the body and it's unmoving. We're going to get it moving. A big shake taking place through my arms are shaking. And it feels like it's really stuck in the upper portion of my body. I can't feel even my diaphragm. I mean, I know it's there, I can touch it, but I'm not really connected into my belly and my hips and my legs. And everything feels like it's just my chest and up, and I can't breathe, and I can't anchor, and I can't ground myself. So I'm going to start working on that through the spine, entire spinal column, from the tip of this, well, the top of the spine, which is head and cervical vertebra. There we go. Now I can feel it anchoring through the thoracic spine, down, travel down, down, down the spine. Coming into the lumbar spine, drawing, like I'm drawing the energy down, away from the head, away from the thoughts, and anchor it into the earth, the whole spine connecting into Mother Earth. Needs to be grounded. Now into the lower portion of the lumbar vertebrae, into the sacrum. There we go. My hips start hurting as soon as we do that. Through the coccyx, down the legs into the earth. I'm going to run that as a repetition, that grounding down the spine, because it feels like if I let go of it, before I've tapped it, or even after I've tapped it, it's going to spring straight back up into the head. So I want to keep this on a repetition. We're creating a habit pattern for brain plasticity, the brain, the nervous system, everything, to anchor that spinal energy down into the earth and to keep grounding the whole entire body. And this is all in relationship to money. I feel like I'm buzzing. And we're doing this not only for ourselves, not only for South Africa, but for the whole planet, the whole world. So this is a very big energy we're connecting into. There we go. Let's tap that now. If you'd like to tap with, you're welcome to. You're going to tap, if you're not a BodyTalk practitioner, you've probably received one before. Tap head, breathing deeply, sternum and belly. And make sure you tap across your brain, head, sternum and belly, all the while breathing deeply. This feeling, the slowing down. I felt like I was racing too fast earlier. Now I'm feeling a nice sensation in my hands, which relate to the heart itself and the heart energy. Now we need to run its parallel, which is the sensation that triggers thoughts. And it's what it is, it's a shock sensation. But even as I say that, I'm working with a shock sensation, the thoughts are there before the shock occurs. Okay, so you think that it's a sensation in the body catalyzing thoughts, but it's, oh, I don't have enough money, or oh, money is such a stress, and oh, money has already happened. So we're just going to almost bring that into conscious awareness, that we think the sensation happens before the thoughts do, but it's really thoughts are happening before the sensation is. But I still want to run a parallel of that there is a physical sensation in the body related to money. And as I'm tuning in, it's actually, we have to connect. This is where we're connecting into abundance. So even that sentence doesn't say it as I mean it, because abundance is happening all of the time. It never stops. It's not something that stops and starts. There is a constant flow of abundance. There's abundance everywhere. And we talk about connecting into abundance, and no, you breathe, you're alive. That's, you are in abundance, right? It's that we need to really understand clearly. There is a glitch in our thinking that says I'm not connected to abundance, or if there isn't X amount of money in my bank account, I'm not abundant. We have all of these mental explanations for things that are happening now, and then defining it according to our presets of what I think I need and what I want and what my goals are. Okay? So here's what is happening. I'll use myself as an example again. There aren't as many clients as I'm accustomed to. And then if I'm talking about the mind getting catalyzed, it might sound something like this. Oh, well, I'm such a bad practitioner. Or I'm not good enough at what I do. Or I have to work harder, which also doesn't make any sense. Or I have to push more. You know, it's impractical. What is happening is just what is happening, right? Abundance is always there, and we judge what abundance is with our thoughts and our assumptions of what we think it is. So, oh, I'm abundant. I've got 7,000 clients and 70 million in the bank. No, that's not what abundance is. That's our thoughts of what we think it is. Abundance is life force happening around us all the time, coursing through your body all the time. And spring is just such a lovely time in South Africa to see it. We're coming out of that dormant state of winter where just last week I looked at, we've got a grapevine outside, and there are these teeny tiny little, very, very small buds on it. And a week later, there's a long little tendril like this with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 leaves on. That is just coming out of this dormancy. So there are natural cycles of ebbing and flowing, ebbing and flowing. And it's really life of what is happening now that we're connecting to. And realizing that our mind is judging what is happening now, and we're judging it as not being abundant. Okay, so it's more a sense of connecting into life as it is, as it flows, as it ebbs. And that it seems to happen that when that occurs, there's this energetic shift that happens, and then you just start seeing the energy of it moving and rolling and shifting and changing. It gives us this idea that we've come out of a stuckness into a movement. Well, that's how it appeared to me at any rate. You might have something completely different for yourself. This is how I'm understanding it. It's like, oh, so you mean if I relax into living my life, I'm not pushing, I'm not forcing, I'm not assuming that I know what abundance is or I know what I need to do. I'm taking practical action for everyday living. Like we wake up, we do stuff throughout the day, and we go to sleep. These things are going to happen all the time. So this is what we're connecting into, like really seeing what is happening in my life. And that seems to be the magic that catalyzes something into happening. Hope I'm making sense. I feel like I'm just speaking in contradictions, but that's really what it is, right? It's the opposite of what we think is going to help us is in fact helping us. So if you've been pushing really hard, sit back and relax. Just because you sit back and relax doesn't mean that you're not going to take practical steps to get something done, right? And even lockdown last year proved this to all of us. We were in our pajama pants for a very, very, very long time, but we managed to attend meetings and clean the house and look after our children and all of these kinds of things. Things still happened, okay? So the mental, just to recap what we're doing, this mental anxiety is far more profound and stronger and pulls me right out of myself, actually pulls me right up into my upper body. And then I can't even think clearly. I can't feel anything else, which is why we're bringing it down to grounding into the earth. And then finally, I can breathe slow right down. My nervous system calms down and I can begin to tune into what my life is, what living for me is, what is practical for me. And sometimes what is practical for you regarding money is, well, I won't get takeout today, I'll rather cook. Or, you know what, I've always wanted to plant spinach in the back garden. Let me do it because then I don't have to, you know, whatever it is. These are, like I said, like just little examples. You'll know for yourself what is practical and what becomes impractical starts to catalyze all of the thoughts, right? We're linking into now these habit patterns in the brain of this anxiety loop. It's like I can't get off of it. My heart starts racing again. So I want to run a formula in the brain, literally want to break down some neural pathways. It's gotten to become a habit now. It's habitual. I must be stressed about money. That's an assumption, right? We don't really need to be stressed about money. So we're going to start working on those neural pathways that are so strongly grooved in and start breaking them down. Something else will come. Who knows what that is? Hopefully, healthy, anchored thinking about taking practical steps. We don't really know, but this habitual fear, I must stress out about money, that will start to shift out. Oh gosh, that's really nice. As soon as I start connecting into that seedry, which is a formulation that'll repeat and repeat and repeat, there's a nice circulation plug-in that goes into the brain. And then I feel like my whole neck and upper back from my neck down has just relaxed. Like, okay, that's great. That feels much more comfortable. My arms still feel a bit strange. All right. We're going to connect into the lungs, doing a circulation plug into the lungs, blood supply, nerve supply, lymphatic circulation within and away from, nerve supply, blood supply to, from, and within. This is supporting the lungs and the heart with good oxygenation into the system. I think a lot of the anxiety is also a lack of oxygenation into the brain and into the lungs, because there's a contraction that takes place with anxiety, and then really shallow breathing, which is one of the techniques to relax, to start relaxing the nervous system, is to take a deep breath. What can you see? What can you hear? What can you touch? What can you smell? What can you taste? Bringing you back to the present moment, because anxiety thoughts just pull you out into the past and into the future. It totally out of the present moment. And only when you're in the present here now is practical action possible. Okay, so we're actually treating a giant overreaction to money. Just money. Okay, so that starts to feel quite good. This brain starts to relax a little bit. Lungs start to feel like they can expand. There's the word expansion, the consciousness of expansion in through the lungs, the ability to take in, and that gaseous exchange improves, drawing oxygenation in. And now, if you think of it, we're connecting into life, right? This is where we are. This is the first place, breathing. Our breath is our connection to living. Inspiration, expiration. Okay. And as you breathe fully, take a few deep breaths for yourself. You'll start to feel that that diaphragm starts to engage nicely, and I can start feeling my lower body coming in. So now we're getting like a sense of wholeness coming into the body mind. All right. I'm going to also work on some, they look like really small mind crystals in the brain. And it's like this obsessive thinking around overspending. It's all like, I've just been looking at the word overspend, overspend, overspend for the last 2 minutes. And so these little mind crystals, fear of overspending, or I need to spend on this. It's not an absolute necessity like toilet paper or food, but I really need it. And then you're calling that overspending. So there's a lot of emotional guilt around actually having to spend money now. So working with that overspend, breaking down those little obsessive mind crystals around overspending, what you think it is, what you believe it is, what you assume it is, and what it really is. There's so many different variations, and they've got these little subtle variations that we're breaking down in there. They'll have waste products, so a circulation plug-in to the brain serves to get those waste products out as well. That'll bring a little bit of a post-nasal drip as it releases and changes in the body mind. So I'm aware that the session's quite long already and we're at time, but I want to not stop it when it's not ready to stop, and it's not. So I'm going to link on to energetic system, and we're working with the meridian line. Kidney meridian. Okay. Kidney meridian and bladder meridian are partners in the water element of Chinese medicine, and one runs up the back of the body and one runs up the front of the body. And now, in my anxiety, I've forgotten which is which. I think the bladder comes up the back. Yes, bladder comes up the back and comes in here. So the kidney is in the front of the body, kidney meridian. Now, the kidney governs our emotions, particularly fear. So it kind of stands to reason that we're coming and working in the kidneys, and it's our sensuality and sexuality. But this is really sensuality that I'm connecting into, how I feel about life, about myself. No, sorry, this is not, I'm going off on a tangent. Give me a second. It's more the tactile sensation of when anxiety has contracted me, it's maximum contraction actually. When anxiety has contracted me, I don't feel like I'm myself. So as we're balancing this and shifting anxiety and balancing the nervous system, that sense of sensuality, of enjoying myself, enjoying my money, the pleasure of enjoying myself. That's what that sensuality is, pleasure and enjoyment. Okay, which we cut ourselves off if, oh gosh, I'm overspending. I can't even enjoy my money. I can't even enjoy what I have. I can't enjoy the things that I buy. I have to constantly feel guilty about them. All right, so, and then there's this thing of I am bad, like an identity gets catalyzed, and that's where we're going to work with this. We're working with that identity not pulling us so strongly, that it's just what's happening. Hope I'm making sense. All right, this wants to run now. Okay. Seed formula 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-day formula. So that first piece, which we've already tapped in, and then the second piece, they're going to work together in a seed formula, coming in to balance that heart, the upper back, the lungs, the spine, and this kidney meridian. We're making sure that the chi that's running through it is strong. It's not contracted. It's not in fits and starts. It's strong flow of energy through the kidney meridian. And the kidney meridian governs a tremendous amount of other things in the body mind. So there's a full body healing taking place with this. Okay, we can tap. So if you'd like to tap with me, if you're listening, you can do that, tapping on the head as you breathe in. And then exhaling your breath, and your tapping doesn't have to synchronize. It doesn't matter how it goes. Let's take deep breaths. Tapping. Okay. So definitely I will do another session exactly like this next week, same time. And I will post the link for registration on my Facebook page the day before. So I look forward to seeing you all then. Thank you so much. Bye.